Welcome back to episode 14 of Scaling CMRR. You're probably going to hate what I have to say, and that's that I've just been slacking with the uploads. I've been solely focused on reading freaking books and building up the cold email agency. I've just been extremely locked in, to say the least. We read 8 books last month, and I'm going to show you guys some of the value here that I have to give you guys. But honestly, I do have to apologize for not uploading for the past week or two. Things have been super hectic. On the screen here, I have all these books documented. I read 8 in November, starting off with The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. Whether you hate him or you like him, I don't really give a shit. I don't really care for the dude too much anyways. I just think his philosophy and way of doing business is pretty interesting. So I read his biography. That was the first book we read here in November. If you want this entire breakdown, or if you just want this damn Google Doc, just DM me on Instagram. I'm back to reading roughly a book or two a week. It's our goal in 2026 to read like 60 or 70 books a year. So first one we read was Trump's biography, basically. 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel was the next book that we read in November. That one was okay. It wasn't too bad. Book number 6, 7. That's funny. The third book we read in November was Think Again. This is basically like introducing different ways of thought and how to think. The Decisive Manager, terrible book. Don't read that one. Diagnostics of Karma was a really good book. Traffic Secrets was by Russell Brunson. And then we just finished reading The Great Game of Business. And then Never Split the Difference. Okay, before we hop into any email stuff, y'all, this is probably going to be one of the most important videos I make on this channel. The best performing video that we've ever had was the reality transferring book breakdown that we did like a year or two ago when I was still living in my mom's house. And you guys don't understand, like, that video has done the best on this channel, but that book is just as good as Never Split the Difference. I've read like probably at this point undocumented books, probably like 30 or 40, just regular even business entrepreneurial books, but like actual documented books, I've had 71 here on the school doc these past 2 years or so. But this one, out of all these books, probably over 100 I've read, like in depth, is probably like top 3. And it just like, it blew me away. I want to be sharing some of my takeaways right here in this video. Pick up Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. He's an ex-FBI hostage negotiator. He studied, I don't even know, at whatever school, but the dude knows his shit. Let's just put it like that. He's put in a lot of difficult situations with foreign relations and hostages and here domestically in the U.S. as well as with other countries too. But I have some breakdowns here that I've written on this journal that are really going to help you guys out with negotiation, sales, closing deals. So I'm going to share with you guys right now. Then I'll show you guys on the screen what we're doing in terms of cold email. This is probably more important than an update from me, okay? So the first thing that I actually took away was becoming a mirror and repeating the last 3 words that the person says. So if you're trying to not necessarily like manipulate or negotiate or whatever, if you're just trying to even close a deal, get closer to somebody, or really actively listen, he talks about how there's different voices in your head that are consistently talking to you when you're having a conversation with somebody. You know, when you sit down and say, I'm sitting down from you face to face and talking with you, getting coffee or whatever. I'm like, okay, how are you doing? Right? I can ask you a question, but at the end of the day, I could be thinking about, damn, I had this thing this morning. Okay, I got the sales call. I got to worry about in the next couple of minutes. Okay, I wonder if this deal came through from New York. And I'm thinking about all this stuff, and you're telling me about your day, and you're talking about your day. How much am I actively listening? You're using like 20% of your actual resources into listening to you. So me as the active listener, when I'm listening to you, it's like everything. I'm focused on your body language, the way you're looking. I'm staring at you. Like, that's very, 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 very concise. And he says, when you become a mirror and you repeat what they said, you know, today was good, whatever, super hectic because we had a lot of drawings that came in today. And I repeat those last 3 words. Oh, you had a lot of drawings that came in today. Oh yeah, that helps him expand more. When he's put in these high risk situations, whenever there's like people's lives on the line and there's kidnappers from different countries that want money for ransom, and they'll say, you know, we'll chop off your friend's ear, or we'll kill your aunt, we have her in custody, whatever, if you don't come up with $45,000, whatever it is, right? Getting to the main objective and repeating what they're saying allows them to move forward with the negotiation and to open up more. Because at the end of the day, he's dealing with these high stress environments. And the motive behind these kidnappers, especially in other countries too, is from what he says, they just want party money for the weekend. Most of these guys, they'll kidnap on a Monday or Tuesday. Those are peak kidnap days. But guess what? By the time Thursday or Friday rolls around, these guys want money to go out there and party over the weekend and spend it to do it all over again the next week. So he says understanding the motivations of each person is extremely critical. And in sales, you have to ask those why questions. Okay, well, obviously you want to make more money. What's the motivation behind that? Okay, cool. You want to feed your cat and your 12 other family members, whatever. Okay. Again, it's deeper than that. Okay, it goes even further than that. Maybe there's some childhood event that happened that you can't really trace back, but an emotion left with you to where you feel so inadequate, to where you have to make these sales and do this other stuff to be able to build a business and be successful. So that's that. Don't feel their pain, label it. That's the next set of steps, okay? Whenever you're talking to somebody on a sales meeting, sales call, you're trying to negotiate, whatever it is, he always talks about how they're going to be talking about a specific pain or something that they're dealing with. They're going to be upset and like, I want this money, I want this right now. And you don't feed into that. You label it. So if somebody's saying, I just had a really shit day about this, this was super bad today. I dealt with all these angry customers and it was terrible and everybody's yelling at me and I was there in the cubicle by myself. How you'd mirror that is you say, oh, wow, you in the cubicle by yourself? They were all yelling at you? Well, yeah, man, it was just like totally terrible. Everybody was doing all this, all of that. But then we're not saying, oh, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry that happened to you. We're not apologizing. We're labeling it. We're saying it sounds like a bunch of people were yelling at you. Like that sounds super frustrating. So if somebody was telling me about that, I'm sitting aside you and we're having coffee or whatever, I'm trying to actively listen, we're trying to negotiate a deal, and you're talking to me about something, I'll say, well, it sounds like that's pretty frustrating, or it sounds like it's frustrating you that people were consistently yelling at you during the cubicle. And they go, yeah, man. And that allows them to open up more. You're not just repeating what they're saying. You're understanding how they're feeling, but you're not diving into the pain with them. You're on the outside as a bystander labeling it, which makes them feel validated to want to open up and trust you more. And that's the entire process. Now, the next thing he talks about is how every single salesperson, I've seen this a lot of times, a lot of people go for yeses and they'll try to get you, especially if telemarketers calling you on a Friday at 5 p.m., whatever, and they're trying to get you to say yes, yes, yes. Is now a bad time to call? No, now it's not a bad time to call. Okay. Do you like water? Yes, I like water. When's the last time you drink water? Oh, I drink water this afternoon. Okay, well, like, are you sure your water is like filtered out correctly? Yes. Again, I'm just running through the place here, but those telemarketers, they try to build up all these artificial yeses, but it's a front. Because when they try to go in for the pitch, they want to make you say yes because you've already told them yes a couple different times before. This doesn't work at all. And the reason why Chris Voss says this doesn't work is because people feel more trustful of you if they can tell you no and you react to it in a certain way. If I try to pump out a bunch of artificial yeses from you on a sales call, I then hope that the fifth time where I price drop and pitch you, you'll be like, yes, because you're so accustomed to telling me yes. That's not how it works, because 4 out of the 5 yeses that you just told me were artificial. They were just yeses just to get through to the next part of the sales call so I can price drop and so you can have some sort of an objection. It's called a smoke screen in sales, and in negotiation, I guess, is called, just trying to blow through everything as quickly as possible to get whatever they want, which is ransom, money, power, whatever it is, right? So he says search for no's. Ask people questions. Well, they'll tell you no, or they can at least feel they're in control of the situation. If he was very methodically, okay? I'm going over service level stuff right now. It's really important, but at the end of the day, if you want this full breakdown, you need to be able to purchase this book. You get it anywhere. Half price books, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, whatever it is. Pick this up. It's super valuable. Last 2 tips I'm going to share with you guys here before I show you guys some stuff on the screen. He talks about bending their reality. So let's say I'm in a sales call right now, right? And I'm a typical agency owner. They already know I'm providing cold email marketing services, and they've already talked to 5 other agencies. Okay. In my head, I already know that the prices the other agencies that pitch them at are probably a 2K month retainer, 3K month retainer, 10K month retainer. All these different, retainers, upfront fees. You get the idea. So I don't have to have my calculator to understand about where they're be at mentally. So whenever I price drop, I bend the reality by making a deal and setting the price anchor so high, it throws them off. So I say, yeah, the full system bill, that's $40,000. And I price anchor at 10 times the amount of my competitors. And that bends their reality. And Chris Voss's way of saying it is it allows them to go, oh shit, and step back in the chair. Because that's the only differential that you have over these other companies. Not the deliverables, not what you can sell, it's not what you look like or who you are. The difference is you are in another ballpark now. And so when you bend that reality and you say typical bill that's $45,000, whatever it is, this allows you to price anchor at that high, and then that's where the negotiation starts. And so even if you go lower and you only sell for 12K, they think they're getting a steal. But in reality, the system's only like 3 or 4K. You just sold it for 12 bands. How'd you do that? Because you price anchored at 4 times that value. So you bend the reality, you throw them off, and it's not a manipulation thing. It's a psychology thing. It's how we think as humans. We're automatically going to associate me as a marketing agency owner with I'm going to overpromise, I'm going to underdeliver. I'm going to be a terrible agency owner. You're going to be hunting me down on Slack. I might just scam you and book you a bunch of fake calls. I might just look like a kid who's behind a computer, doesn't know what I'm doing. All these assumptions, I'm bringing out worst case scenario because you can't go any lower than that. So I'm bringing out these worst case scenarios to bend your reality and to have you think about, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not that bad. Or wow, okay, if he's positioning at this high, how good must it be? And this is how we think as humans. Every human thinks like this, right? People will take more risk to avoid a loss rather than support a gain. Again, this is sales 101. People want to be sold people don't want to be sold. You have to sell with cost of inaction rather than cost of what the action of your service or product can give that person. So obviously, like how much this will save you money-wise in Q4, how much weight you can lose, or how much weight would you gain if you didn't do this program. So again, we're selling cost of inaction here, okay? Open-ended questions, obviously. The last thing I want to bring up is extracting all the info. He has this chapter in the book, and it's called Find the Black Swan. And the Black Swan is a sort of like, it's just a kind of, it's a big like fictionary tale to where he tells that obviously like in order to find the black swan, you have to ask questions that are uncommon so you can get an uncommon result, because there's always something in the deal or something in the negotiation that they're not telling you. Let's say I'm a Fortune 500 company who has a crazy amount of ad budget, right? And you're over here, a marketing agency owner who wants to pitch them on your services and you charge 10K a month, whatever, no issue. They're giving you resistance. Even though you know this Fortune 500 company has paid multiple agencies over the past decade thousands and more dollars a month for the same exact paid advertising services. So why are they giving you pushback? Well, it just so happens that the, I don't know, executive CMO marketing motherfucker, sorry, excuse my French, that you're talking to, the CMO dude, is he already hit all his budget for the next year. He already spent it all the previous year, and he doesn't want to tell the upper level management that. So he's giving you pushback because it seems like they can't afford it, but they can. And he knows they can too. He can as well. But he effed it up because the CMO used all their budget for the next year because he used it during that year. So he used all the budget. He already blew it. He can't even invest in your agency anymore. He's just taking this call just to fill up spots, just so he shows his boss he's still going through the motions. But in reality, the black swan here, and when you find the black swan by asking questions and you sort of spin sell with them, the black swan was the fact that he already blew his marketing budget for that entire year, the year prior. And you won't know that unless you ask the proper amount of questions. And if that gets mitigated, the black swan gets revealed in front of the stage, and you can attack that objection. But you don't know that unless you find the black swan by asking open-ended questions that can't be answered with yes or no. So those are just some takeaways from Never Split the Difference. I have already implemented at least 5 of these into CMRR, whether it's price anchor, whether it's buyer psychology, whether it's how I present myself, how I show myself. I have already implemented this. I'm a fast implementer. If you want to beat me and beat the competition, you got to pick up this book. I'm not an affiliate, but I mean, hit me up if maybe, I don't know. Barnes & Noble will one day sponsor me. Promise. So let's hop into this on my screen here and just kind of show you guys what we're doing on Instantly and things like that. Okay. So let's go over here to Instantly. Today, let me see how many we sent. Go over here to analytics. Today we sent about 869. We got a decent amount of positive replies, and a decent amount of negative replies. What's going on right now, and what's actually very, very, very interesting, is you will get like 60% of people that tell you no for cold email. I'll be making weekly updates instead of daily updates because every single day, obviously things change, but in order to get a good picture of where we're kind of at, I'm probably going to switch things to, weekly. That way it's a lot easier. Okay. So that's going to be that. Obviously my website is going to be createmrr.com if you guys want to check it out. I wanted to mainly make this video as an update to show you guys the Never Split the Difference, the book video. What I think is super important though on cold email is obviously keeping things short and sweet. I'm not going to dive too much into the copy and stuff like that, but here's just a really quick overview of kind of what we're doing for the guys in the fintech space and custom dev space. Saying sorry, you're making an impact in the fintech space. It should be fintech. If I can connect you with 2 to 4 businesses per week actually looking for your solution, would that be worth a short conversation? I have a solution we're great hearing about. Obviously, this copy can be tweaked. This didn't even look like it had the industry name in here, which is really bad. So we're going to go ahead and tweak that out after this call. But that being said, you guys, that's kind of the end of the video. If you guys want this, DM me the book summaries. More than happy to give this access to anybody. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll keep you guys updated. Again, we're over here trying to sell. We are selling a package a day of CMR. So we're selling a cold email build out to either a software company or an agency owner every single day. If you want to learn exactly what I do and how I do it, how to install cold email and book more qualified meetings, and you're an agency or your software company, first link right down below. I go through an entire Loom video. I'm talking about our services, how we work, how we can generate you qualified calls on a completely done for you basis. That's going to be the first thing right down below. I look forward to speaking to you guys soon. Talk to y'all in a bit. Peace.